now go live to the Coach Jackson press conference. What Coach Jackson did you think it was going to be, mother?
We just got our ass totally kicked. We couldn't make a first down, couldn't complete a pass. We can't do It's just we that whole second half up. We've got to be the dumbest team in America in terms of playing this game. I'm highly critical on how we just give games away. We just give them away. Period, mother.
Hey, Coach Jackson, why are you in such a bad mood? I mean, don't you think that your team is still going to make it to the playoffs?
What the do you care, mother?
If you was 0-7, you would be in a bad mother mood too.
And you gonna ask me about some playoffs? Playoffs, mother?
Say playoffs again. I dare you. I double dare you, mother. Say playoffs one more goddamn time.
Mother, don't talk to me about some playoffs. I just want to win a game. See, that's what's great about sports. You play to win the game. You play to win the game, mother. Hello? Are you hearing me, mother? Play to win the game. And we ain't winning. Cannot play with them. Cannot win with them. Cannot coach with them. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
I want to talk about playoffs. I know you sure as hell do. What the hell is that behind your head?
This is the latest addition to my collection over there. I'm the newest member of the 600 Point Club.
Is that like the Mile High Club, but for like
no?
midgets?
It's the top teams in the UNfantasy League, and I think that if your defense gave up one more point this past week, you'd be in the club too. But apparently, like according to the club, there's no Johns allowed. So maybe next week, perhaps. But you did pull ahead of the Battle Bunnies, and you are now in the driver's seat of your division. Playoffs are quickly approaching. Awesome week in football. Awesome week in the UNfantasy Football League. Tons to discuss. How was your Thanksgiving?
Good. I love how you did that, man. This was like a debate masterclass because I had some, I had all these things about, hey, it doesn't count if the Mile High Club if you punch your own clown. You stopped me right there, controlled the frame, and then gave me a nice greeting. So my Thanksgiving was good. How about yours?
Good. I boycotted pants at the end of the night, but did not get a chance to catch probably the best game of that day. But I want to hear your take on what happened with New England. Other than that, Giants got killed. Detroit lost again in traditional fashion. Standard Thanksgiving stuff.
It was fun until that New England game. But again, we want to talk about playoffs because you've instituted this genius playoff bracket. There's 1 week left. I think people are liking it. I'm loving it. I can't wait. I couldn't get off my computer all week to see if I was going to also get into the your Mile High Club thing, I guess, or whatever you call it. But I didn't. I came 1 point short, and here you are. So we also have some special guests that are going to join us today, which I'm super excited about. Our biggest, I think week one we called her our hype girl, right? Something along those lines. So
yeah, she's become a monument in this inaugural first season. I think that says it politely. Maybe underestimates or undervalues what she means to this league. But we will be joined by Team Goal Stoppers, who you want to talk about trash talk. She moved her way up to second place. Would not stop texting me all weekend with, her anxiety levels, and the edge of her chair got it run for its money, especially last night because it was her Steelers against the Colts, and I believe she has both win-loss cards. So she was, I guess a little hesitant on trying to figure out, does she stick with the loyalty of her Steelers? Does she go against them? She ended up making the right decision, and it propped her right back up to the top three standings. So congrats to her on that as we head into the final week of the UNfantasy regular season.
You didn't share that same loyalty, man, because I actually have proof that you thought the Giants were going to win. It's like what you said anyway on the live stream last week, but you picked two of the Giants position cards in your lineup this week. So you didn't have that same loyalty that Linda has.
but I still beat you. So it wasn't that bad. The Giants got their ass kicked, which I made the right decision in those cards. They got me enough points to obviously solidify my position atop of the NFC South. I too am looking forward to that bye week and the wild card weekend. But I think that, I did call the Giants. I thought that they were going to play a little bit better than they did. Kind of put a little run for the money, but Saquon didn't really have the best game. And I think that, look, a 12-4 record, if that's my one blemish, it's my one blemish.
You got a couple more right here.
This is my playoff beard, man. I'm taking hockey into tradition, into unfantasy football.
This is an instance where you don't want to have that high def streaming camera and the ring light around that you have, but to see those blemishes. So
I just have a lamp without the shade, so I went old school with it. But
it's a leg lamp. It's a leg lamp. So how do you want to do this, man? Do you want to go over some of the stuff that happened last week? The winners, we have Commander Frost that took this weekly win again. I think it's his second time, at least.
Nope.
It's his first time.
It's his first time. He flirted with the 1 yard short trophy twice this year. So weeks 2 and week 7. So he was finally able to crack through and solidify the victory. Mac Jones for unpoints coming in second, and that's another one that's not shy on the podium. That's their second run at the 1 yard short trophy, but they also have a week's win as well. So, I was just kind of briefly going through the weekly standings over the course of the season. And of course I won week 9, which I know you saw that coming as part of a comment, but I believe Mac Jones for unpoints and Commander Frost have the record for the most times in the winner circle. I think they both have 1 yard short victories and a weekly winner as well. So that trophy, by the way, that is an award that will be given out at the end of the year on who has the most, appearances at the top of the standings on a week-to-week basis. But that continues until week 18. That's very important. This is the final week of the regular season in the UnFantasy. Playoffs will continue, but your weekly scores and your overall scores will continue to accumulate as we head through to the final week of the NFL season.
Yep, very important. I think we always set this game up where you can win in any week. So ironically enough, we had a player join this week on Thanksgiving Day, and the dude, we're international, baby. The dude lives in Turkey. So what is the irony of that? So we have BA who joined, and he's not out of the playoff race yet, is he? He's out of it, but he's flirting with it. Our last player to join the week before, Mountain Hikers, is actually in the playoffs and just joined 2 weeks ago. So we set it up always where it could be weekly, annual, and then all time, because I think you can have your cake. It looks like you have a little bit already after Thanksgiving, but this is a long game, man. So it's a long game, and you've gotten me by like 3 or 4 points. So I'm close to your 600.
I've come a long way up this mountain, man. And I want to take a quick pause. It's officially 2:39 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Team USA just scored. They're up 1-0 against Iran. World Cup update, another international football, I guess, conversation, but just wanted to make sure that my wife just heard it on the TV in the living room. So quick update there. Back to the
unfantasy. You heard it on the TV in the living room. You got it like a delay?
Yeah, no cable, just streaming. So her internet is slower because I'm taking up all the bandwidth on the Trash Talk Tuesday.
I am that boring that you actually are watching TV every time we have these conversations on week?
100%. But yet I still am very articulate in the way that I express myself. So I'm not distracted. It actually enhances my ability to communicate and talk shit to you. So consider it ammunition, because I'm firing at all cylinders here, man. I'm ahead of you in the standings. I beat you back-to-back weeks. My record this week compared to yours in picking games was far more superior. Both our teams lost, so I can't really hold that one against you. We're both on tops of our division, so I can't really hold that against you too. Hey, look, this is a great time of year, and I'm just ecstatic to, have the ability to talk this kind of shit with you, man. So
Yes. So here's the thing. So we'll bring up goal stoppers, Linda, now. And I'm curious because you guys have you have a little head start. We met her at the same time, but you guys have a lot closer relationship here. So I'm just wondering if this is going to be 2 versus 1, or if it's going to be 1-on-1, which I think is the case, or well, I guess we'll find out. So thank you, goal stoppers, for everything you do.
Buckle up, baby. Buckle up, John. We're going for a ride. I have my own theme song for my team. No, that's not it, Trevor. Okay. It's close, and it's inspired by this, but it's also inspired by Goal Stoppers. Get it? Goldfinger?
Got it.
Yes.
Did I lose you guys? Did I lose you already on Trash Talk Tuesday?
I was trying to make sure I didn't miss Trevor from the background. I was trying to make sure that I was able to hear everything he was saying.
Well, he's always got to be in the background. He's a professional musician and singer, so he's, always got to be performing, So what's up?
Welcome.
Who's in the house? We got so
How about
many
the 600 point club?
Dude, come on.
That's right.
Yeah.
Congratulations on springboarding to the second.
I got my answer. It's going to be 2 versus 1, but whatever. Got it. There you go.
No. Look, we're going to talk playoffs. We're going to talk format. We're going to talk wild cards. There's going to be a lot of important stuff that we're going to talk here too. I mean, Linda, you're going to take your shots because you're kicking both of our asses here.
Well, also, I have to say I am behind the 8 ball with the fact that I'm still shaky and wonky on the whole playoff, the brackets with the numbers and and how it works, and being the biggest loser it means you're really losing.
We'll go over all that. We'll go over all that. I think it's important to get you up here specifically because you ask all the best questions. You make it to a point where we want to simplify what craziness is going on in our heads to a position where you feel comfortable to compete, to outperform John and still lose to me. As long as we stick on that wavelength, we're going to be in a good spot. So we'll go over all that stuff. Definitely want to cover what happened this past week, though. I mean, you not only completed you not only achieved the second overall position, but in week 12, you finished in the fifth spot. So talk to us a little bit how you went about setting your lineup. What thought process did you go through? Did you listen to my picks last week when we went over it?
No. I love how you guys kind of pick apart all the mechanics and going under the hood. I'm not as well versed with some of the somebody's out on an injury or I'm not that deep into it, but I do look at a lot of the numbers. Every week I go through who's playing who and the standings, and I look at the week before who they played. I look at the stats on the playing cards. But thank you, Taylor. But even with the playing cards and the stats, I have found that that's kind of a little bit of a coin toss as well. Like, for instance, for Thursday, because I played the Detroit Lions defense card. The week before that, it was very, very lackluster. But then I said, okay, well, maybe I'll buy a card. Maybe I'll use my Pittsburgh defense card as well. But then I was like, now I'm going to just chase the points. And then it's going to be then the Lions are going to do great and better. And so I said, stick with what you know, because long term, the Lions have been trustworthy in shitting the bed. Is this a family show? Okay. With
our kids swear though, so it's all good.
Okay, good. I love other people's kids. Great.
In multiple languages too.
So anyway, so I look at who they're playing. I look at the standings. I look at the stats on the cards, and then I go with my gut on it. It's going to get harder though. I think everyone here who's watching probably is feeling that uncertainty. But then I was also looking at, I have a KC card. I've got a Minnesota card. I've got I just bought a penalties Cowboys. Why I didn't do that sooner, I don't know.
I would have traded you. I have one.
Damn it to hell. Okay. So, I mean, there's not a lot of science, but I have to tell you, I will tell you, I spend probably easily an hour and a half setting my lineup up. Easily. Maybe even 2, but then now I'm embarrassed, you know.
And that's dedicated. And I'm like, I think this is a rhetorical question, but you have fun this year?
Oh, well, you know, Mike knows, John, because you and I don't talk as often, but we'll have to change that, and you'll have to come on my show and do an interview with me. I took off 2020 and 2021 because of COVID and because Pittsburgh, you had to go out. I didn't have the package and et cetera, et cetera. So I took off, and then this came up, and the timing was just fortuitous, and I've been having a blast. Even Trevor now is going to the games with me. So it's been a family affair.
Was he going to turn down a beer? Come on.
I know. And wings. Come on. Bonus.
Well, you definitely made the right decisions this week.
Yeah.
You know, Houston's offense looked awful against Miami in the first half. I think at halftime that game was 30-0. And they ended up scoring 15 points in the second half. So you lost a little bit there, but Detroit's defense came through for you. Arizona's just been on a tailspin in the wrong direction or the right direction for your cards.
Yep.
Penalties are always a coin flip. So, you know, definitely don't know what Kansas City provided for you there, but I'm sure it was a little bit. And then, of course,
it was a smidge. Yeah.
And then, of course, the big decision that you were forced with yesterday. Who do you play? Do you stick with your heart and soul in Pittsburgh, or do you go with you go against them? And it looks like you stuck with your heart and you made the right decision.
I did, but it was a head and heart. I really felt confident that they were going to be able to pull it off. And, you know, they started off. So I was like, okay, this is good. And then I was like, oh my God, they're supposed to be better in the second half. What's going on? So it was a lot of sweating going on last night. Trevor went to bed. I didn't even get to bed till like 2 a.m. because I was all hyped up.
I was right there with you, making sure that you got the lineups and the standings and the brackets all updated so that you can refer to it. I opened my phone this morning, and there was about 17 updates from Connecticut that said that they were on the website. So I knew you were busy last night, just making sure that you were in fact in second. I know it's a shocker, but glad you're having a blast. Always glad to have you here.
So much, you guys. It was great meeting you in Phoenix. And even though I don't know if everyone knows here, if you haven't watched the video we did, Mike and I did a video. It's 58 minutes, so put on playback 2.0 and save yourself some time. But when we met in Phoenix, I was completely unabashedly, aggressively eavesdropping on their conversation. GI, Mike, and John, like the 3 hottest cats in the room. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, let's see. What are they talking about? And for 45 minutes, I mean, I got a set of balls, right? 45 minutes I was listening. And then I said, hey, can I ask you guys a question? And Mike totally had to vet me. He was like, hold on, please. Can I ask you a couple questions? I'm like, sure. He's like, do you even know what an NFT is? I'm like, bitch.
Sounded just like that, too.
He didn't either at that time either. So
nope, still don't. All
and
I know
then
is
we were all
be.
BFFs for the rest of the trip. It was awesome.
Very cool. That was fun. Brings back memories. I can't believe it's been, when was that? That was March or May or something.
May 1st. May 1st. Yeah. I'm used to StreamYard because I do my own live shows, but I'm used to like popping up the comments, and I can't do that now. I feel so out of control. Like what universe am I in?
I think I'm going to lose my job here. The way you guys have hit it off. It's like, you know, if there was a producer here, they'd say you have no chemistry here with them, so get the hell out of here. So maybe I'll just be the back producer, green room producer, and get you guys going. You do have like a movie voice.
We love
when you
you,
started
John.
This thing, it's like you're like in a world. So we may need to talk voiceover for like an alternate Sam Jackson opening.
I have my
like
ASMR voice. Yes. I have my ASMR voice. Hi. How are you?
Don't start with that stuff. Taylor, who is Captain Falcons, is you know big into that stuff. So we'll just get her up here too, and then I definitely will bounce.
We got to get all the crew. We got to do a group Zoom, group call, group.
Yeah, maybe we'll have like a little after season party to celebrate my victory.
Absolutely.
He loves to talk. He loves to talk about this stuff. All right, Mike, let's go over this stuff because I can't give you anything but props of what
I love
you
you too,
did with
Krista.
this. So let's go over the. I guess we should show the weekly winners and just go back to that point, right? Go back to 12.
Let's do that.
Show who won, who lost, came up short.
We spoke about Commander Frost. Congrats to him. Mac Jones in for points. Congrats again. Again, every time I see that Green Bay one, all I want is a big bowl of mac and cheese. The Will to Tilt, brand new name, same old team. Unfortunate luck this year, and the streak continues. But at least you made your way to the top of the board at some capacity. So
and it's a small universe, a small world, a small UNfantasy Football League because the Will to Tilt is Joe Polizzi's team. That's who was the mastermind and created that conference that we all met at. And
I knew it was him, but I didn't know. But I knew.
Yep, he's. I named the team for him, but so whether you think it's good or bad, but he's got a great fiction book called The Will to Die. When he took a hiatus from his marketing world, it's awesome. We actually used the same producer to do our Battle Bunnies audiobook, which is coming out very, very shortly. And so the Will to Tilt, the Tilt is his community name. So just kind of morph that in together. So there you go.
Yep. And, just rounding out the top 14, I don't think we need to go past that point. Now we definitely don't need to see who came in 15th place. Super Troopers first and 70.3. Dark Matter, Muffin Punts still staying strong at the top there. Wow, dude, we both got beat by our wives this week, huh? How pathetic.
Yeah.
So that rounds out week 12.
Did you get your safe word right though on your instance?
The what?
What is your safe word? Like 600 points? Is that what is, or you have it always?
My safe word? No, it's in Spanish. I can't say it. She'll come running in the room.
Caramba.
A lot of movement towards the top of the standings too. As we mentioned, Linda and Goal Stoppers pumped up to number 2. Massholds is falling off the cliff here, man. I mean, he was holding number 1 for a while. Muffin Punts has had it for the last few weeks. Keeping up with the Joneses. Mac Jones in for points, coming in strong. Wow, number 6 coming in hot, man. I was number 2 at some point before last night's game. But Linda made the right decision and stole it from me. So Mad Max coming in at 7, and I guess we can jump into playoffs now.
What else? Or overall, if this is the overall standings, I can't see with my old eyes, but I think one thing that I noticed is we've definitely had a shift. Like early on, it was Massholes, Bored to Death.
Very happy team.
Very happy team, exactly. They were like and they've really taken a dive down recently where Mac Jones in front points was even below you, Michael, down there in the standings in the 50s somewhere when we only had 50 teams. But she's made a huge run up this way. We've had some consistency, and I think that consistency is the key to anything here, which has been me, because I've always been up towards the top. Battle Bunnies and Krista.
I would argue Battle Bunnies first, but
Battle Bunnies and sport. Yeah, but
Krista and Frank.
The league needs 500 teams.
Yeah.
The league needs 500 teams. So, 500 average point teams. But we'll see. We'll see how all this plays out. Again, all of these continue on through week 18. So the battle for this top position, regardless on what happens in playoffs, regardless on what happens in the consolation bracket, this still stays intact. We will still have week 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 weekly winners. So setting your lineup, even if you're not in the losers bracket, which is the championship bracket, or the winners bracket / consolation bracket, you will still have the opportunity to compete for some pretty cool awards at the end of the season.
Yep. And then spoiler alert real quick is that Mike and I were going over, I guess it was end of last week or beginning of this week. It all blends together, but we were going over some awards, but physical and digital awards on this stuff too. And it's going to be pretty cool. I cannot wait for that to be made
and announced. We're excited about that. So, all right. Well, I guess we can kind of blow over some of the games that happened over the weekend. We touched on some of the bigger ones. Obviously, a couple games ended on 2-point conversions, which was pretty cool to see.
Yes. That's a big deal not to gloss over, though, because people like Massholes, like Thank You Very Much, who had the sure thing of the Jaguars losing to the Ravens. The Ravens, not only did they come back in the last second, they, instead of kicking it to like every other team would and play it safe and tie it to go to overtime, they went to go for 2. So they either win or they lose. They won. So everybody had Jacksonville in the win-loss, which you thought was a sure bet, got -5 points. Anybody that had the Ravens, which Taylor, Captain Falcons, happened to have that and be a beneficiary of that decision, ended up making it out there.
Yep, they got that all critical 25 point bump. So yeah, I mean, look, those types of things are what, I guess makes Vegas thrive, right? Those over-unders, those point wins, losses. Fantasy football is no different. So this is the whole purpose of really why we created the league and the point structure the way we wanted to, was that in the event the team does what they did ×2 on Sunday in going for 2 and winning the game that way, you're literally yelling at your TV like, why did I pick them? Or in Taylor's case, solid decision, whether direct or indirect. But yes, all of this sits, I guess, second tier to what is unfolded or what has unfolded in the playoff picture. So I'm going to take a stab, Linda, at just explaining it. And then I'm going to ask you what questions you may have based on, what you don't understand based on the way I'm explaining it. And we'll expand on it from there.
Okay.
So the National Football League has 8 divisions divided into 2 conferences. So there's four divisions in each conference. So there's an East, North, South, and West in both the NFC and the AFC. Okay. Each one of those divisions has 4 teams. Okay. Each of those teams are represented on all of our owners' passes. Okay. So I'm going to actually pull up.
You sound like that teacher in South Park. If you say "okay" one more time. Okay.
I'm going to actually pull up the official spreadsheet.
Oh God, my eyes
here.
glazed over when you did that last week. It's the unfan part that's tripping me up. Even though I love that losers are still winners in this league kind of thing, it's just the double negative thing of how to, and also my big questions are going to be how are we going to still advance if we've been trying to pick teams that suck this year, right? So how are we going to advance if all the better teams are going to start getting filtered out, or filtered in, right? So that's where I'm going to get all trippy.
Okay, so we'll explain everything. I have a screen shared. I need the powers that be to. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit just so that we can all see it. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know we're good.
Thumbs up.
Okay. So the logo on your owner's pass determines the division you're in. And the divisions are consistent with the divisions in the National Football League. So the NFC East, for example, consists of the Giants, the Eagles, the Commanders, and the Cowboys. Okay. All the teams with those owners pass logos are competing for that playoff seeding and that playoff race right now. Multiply that division times the other 7, both between the NFC and the AFC, and that's how the playoffs are unfolding. So the way we decided to do it was the top points of all those teams in each respective division, the top 4 will advance into the losers bracket. Okay. And we say it's the losers bracket because this is a league that rewards losing, right? So that's really the only implication that the unfantasy concept has. Everything else with respect to the point system, with respect to how you win or lose, it's exactly the way the game has been played throughout the whole year.
Gotcha.
So your offensive points, you're still going to be rewarded on turnovers. You're still going to be deducted points for each time that team scores.
Okay.
The win-loss card, same thing. You get the -5 if that team wins, plus 25 if that team loses. Now, this is a single elimination concept, so those decisions have a little bit more weight to them. You're not just competing in a big pool of 68 teams. you're competing against another team, which makes the head-to-head concept a little bit more interesting. And I'll go over that in a little bit more detail. So this chart right now is actually available live on the website. And you can see that in the playoff tab under the NFC or the AFC playoff race. So if you were to click, for example, on the NFC playoff race, where Linda, you and I both are, you'll see that the NFC East, this is the same standings as on our spreadsheet. It's just in a little bit easier format. Yeah. And it'll also show which teams that are outside looking in, how many points they're behind. So there's 1 week left, for example, anti-football to capture 33 plus points to surpass Christakins and get into that final playoff spot.
Yeah. Okay.
Which all that takes is basically close to her team losing and his team winning, or vice versa, right? One of those is going to clinch it or lose it.
We've seen almost 100-point swings week to week, where a team who almost eclipsed 100 points got 2 the following week. So nothing is set in stone yet. There's nobody that's really even clinched technically, because anything could happen. A team can throw 7 interceptions, and that's 70 points for that offense, right? There's a lot of things. There's so much that could happen this coming week. This is arguably the most critical week of the UNfantasy season so far.
Yep. And I know in the Telegram chat, how about these nuts? I don't know if that's like bad or not or what. But I see a lot of people say it, and it's on like kids shows, so I don't think it is bad. But he thinks he's out of it. But the reality is he's not really out of it. Like most people are not out of this yet.
We were DMing last night, and he was pretty much, proclaiming that he was out. I go, it's not over yet. It's way
definitely
far
not
from
over.
Yeah,
it's definitely not over. So just. Do you understand the concept that the top 4 in each division will move on to the actual tournament?
Right. So like Krista just commented, nobody come for me. I'm kind of having the same sentiment, but I'm already into I cannot be knocked out in week 14, right? From wherever I am, or can I? I can't.
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But do you understand where like how you got grouped in here? Specifically.
Yeah.
So
it's by points and our owner's pass logos.
Right.
Yeah.
So the owner's pass, so whatever you have on your owner's pass, that is the team, and then that team gets into the real life division of whatever that team is. So if your team is the Arizona Cardinals, then you're going to go into the NFC conference in the West, and you're going to compete for everybody else that has logos that are also in the NFC West as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I got that part. That's cool. It's the progressing of the playoffs that I'm very curious about, on how to continue to evolve, as in lose.
Got it. All right. Well, we'll go over that in a second. So the NFC and the AFC are both constructed exactly in the same format. With the divisions, the top 4 move on. No need to regurgitate everything in the AFC. Now, it's important to note, these charts are only going to be relevant up until the conclusion of next week's games, because that is officially going to determine which teams have won or advanced in their division to the playoff round. Okay, so after next week, these charts really don't matter. You can reference them, they'll be there, but for the most part, they won't be updated.
You could print them out and put them behind for next week's show if you happen to do good, and forget about it to mention it if you don't.
So this is where Krista's point is pretty valid then, because like right now, just for I have 627 and change, right? So if next
gloating, or
I'm totally gloating, okay. And also, I also know that I'm like, Humpty Dumpty on the wall, because it could come tumbling down at any moment in week 14. So if if my lineup is crap, and let's just say I get a -5, and the rest of single digits on points, I'm still potentially, no, I can fall below 600, right? I can go below 600.
I mean, to get -27 points in 1 week is kind of a long shot.
It hasn't happened. What's the lowest so far that anybody's got?
I think it's been like -2.
-2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Right. Because it's not -5 and not 20. Okay. So it's -5. So that's 622.
And that's just one scoring category.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
All right.
This all goes on overall points at this point. Okay.
Okay. I'm sleeping tonight. Okay. We can move on now. Thank you.
Look, if I were a betting man, I would say that the likelihood of you making the losers bracket is a 99.9% guarantee.
Okay. I like those numbers.
Okay. Because the next closest one is in fourth place at 520 points, 107 points behind you.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So, and below that is an additional 4.3 points. So this is the race to watch, believe it or not. This is the race to watch in the NFC because Flag on the Play, who's been very active, he is really, really biting for that last playoff position. In fact, they can even move up 2 or 3 spots depending on how all this week plays out.
1,000%.
So much movement yet to occur in this in the seeding element of this. Okay,
that's another dude that Jacksonville bit in the ass because that's what knocked him out. He's been up there all year. Yep.
And again, that's a 2-point conversion. If that's the excuse throughout the whole offseason, it's going to be a long offseason for that team. The North is another competitive one in the AFC side. I mean, you could see there's a 50-point swing with 5 teams that are not in it.
Well, see, I think this is kind of the point where, I'm not resting on any laurels because no matter how much homework you do or research or comparing or math or whatever, you could still have a team that comes in and surprises everybody.
And that happens all the time at this point in the football
Every
season.
week there's a team that won and we're like, what the hell were they thinking?
That's why in traditional fantasy, which this is all replicated from, right? The last remaining weeks in the actual football season are the most difficult to understand because the players that got you into that position of the championship or the playoffs might not be the ones that make you win. It's really, it could be a completely different crop of players, but understanding the format on how the teams will make it into the losers championship bracket.
Yeah.
Let's look at the losers championship bracket. So again, it's divided amongst the 2 conferences. You have the NFC side and the AFC side, and they will both compete individually. And there will be one winner from each conference that will face off in the big game at the end. We haven't figured out what we're going to call that yet. Okay.
I love how you have the championship. You guys are so clever. Oh my God.
That was John's idea.
John, you're so good.
That was not, I don't think
so
it was my idea.
John.
No, he's just doing that. It is important to know here too, like I think you've already said it, but just now that we're looking at the brackets, if you take first in your division, which is very important. So it's not just like getting into the playoffs. Take first in your division, you're going to get a bye, which automatically gets you to the next round of the playoffs. So anything can happen because in this first wild card, which was Mike's idea, to name it that, you're competing against 3 different teams. So anything can happen, right? You could have an off week and somebody that stinks could have a good week, but you're guaranteeing yourself in that second week if you can push up like I did and surpass the Battle Bunnies this week to hold on to the bye for now for me.
Yeah. So let's talk about the wild card weekend as well as the rest of the format. So up until this point, all of the weekly winners on each week were determined by the team that had the most points compared to the entire rest of the league, right? In the playoff format, starting with the wild card weekend, it's only the top scoring team in each of these respective games. So Keeping Up with the Joneses only has to score more points than Dugby or Dan Snyder's Diary in order to advance. And this is what makes this whole concept more interesting, but it also is why getting that first round bye is so critical, because anything could happen in week 14, right? You don't ever know. You might pick the wrong players. Your teams might suck or do well, which means that your teams suck. But if you have that guaranteed,
go for 2 at the end of the game.
Go for 2 at the end of the game. If you have that guaranteed bump into the next round, now you have these other teams fighting each other for their right to move on in the playoff bracket.
Interesting. So now week 15 is when, Mike, you said sidebar, you said you can actually watch the games and relax. You can just enjoy them because I'm slotted already, correct?
Week 14 would be that week for you right now, as of today. But next week that could change if your team gets, surpassed on that first spot.
Oh, well, then I think I'm getting it mixed up with where I fall in the bracket here, where you move me, and it says week 15 above it, right above it.
Yeah. So week 15 is the first playoff game that you will have to play.
Oh. Okay.
So as you can see, like follow the branches. These teams are going to play each other in week 14. One
14.
winner is going to appear from that
Okay.
group.
Okay. I'm back now. Got it.
Okay. So that happens on each of the respective games. So there's going to be a total of 8 games in week 14 that are specific, right?
Okay.
So you're going to have your overall standings, but there's going to be an NFC number 1 game, 2, 3, 4, AFC 1, 2, 3, 4. And one winner is going to emerge from each of those games, subsequently moving on to play whomever finished first in the division in week 15.
Okay. Jack Silverman.
Yep. I guess there's a huge snowstorm in Minnesota, which is good. That gives me peace for because Jack was not talking smack at all. But he's just so jovial about his Vikings, like everybody is in Minnesota, that it just came off like super passive aggressive when the Vikings beat the Patriots, even though he wasn't. But I got something for you, Jack, later on that we'll go over here shortly after we're done this playoff bracket. So Stay tuned.
So each week, those head-to-head matches will determine who moves on all the way up until week 17.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to interrupt you. So I think something just clicked for me. I'm only going to be worrying about the points of the other team in the bracket. I don't have to care about anybody else.
Well,
for playoffs right now.
Okay. So in the playoff bracket, yes. But as I keep mentioning throughout this podcast,
yes,
your weekly score and your overall score will still bear weight against the rest of the league. Just if you want to continuously move towards the championship in the UNfantasy playoffs, you only need to concern yourself with the team, or in the wild card weekend case, the teams that you're playing against.
Got it. Okay. All right.
Okay. It's important to know too that even the teams that don't make this losers bracket, which is again our winners bracket, our version of that, like there is a winners bracket, which is the losers bracket. So nobody's out of it. And we're still doing the weekly, just like we're doing weekly winners and rewards and stuff like that. Like that happens still all the way through this whole thing. So there's no reason to just like give up if you're Jack Silverman in last place yet.
No, because there are end of season awards that will be determined based on the overall points and the weekly points as well. So all that being said, each week leading up until the championship weeks on each conference, there will be a head-to-head competition. In week 17, the last 2 remaining teams in each conference will face each other, and the winners of those will move on to the ultimate championship. And that will be played in the final week of the actual football season. The winner of the week 18 championship will be the winner and the champion of the league for the inaugural UNfantasy football season.
Exciting!
And I don't want to burst your bubble too much, but this is going to turn your friendliness and your little
Are you talking to me
here. It's going to like both of you guys in order to face me in the championship. You're going to have to you both are in the NFC, so you're going to have to battle each other out at some point. And then this friendly little thing you got going on here is going to turn different.
Nice with you, John. Okay. All right. I'll text you on the side. Hey, how you doing?
If anybody wants to know how the seeding is positioned, you can look at that on the playoffs tab on the actual website. At the bottom, there's a sample. So you'll see if you finish number 2 in the East, this is where you're going to be seated. Number 3 in the East, number 4 in the East, 2 in the North, all the 1 seeds accordingly. All of these are predetermined to make sure that the divisions don't play each other into the second round. But overall, that's where you're going to be seated. If you wanted to take a quick look at that. Week 18, we may have a third place game too. We haven't figured that part of it out yet. We'll see how everything shapes up. We probably will, just to have the point total up. but there will be a bronze medal award issued, and I guess, fourth place will get nothing. So that's really the losers bracket on how it's all set up. As John had mentioned, there is a winner's bracket as well. It's not as put together in tournament style. It's actually done the exact same way as the way we've been playing to this point, where the top two teams, one in the AFC, one in the NFC, will square off in the winner's bracket championship, which will again take place on week 18. The next two teams will vie for the third place. So in essence, what you're doing in the entirety of the playoffs is you're facing everybody else in your conference, and you're just trying to fight for that top spot within the conference on the teams that are left. If a team gets eliminated from the loser's bracket, they do not move into the winner's bracket. They are eliminated.
What does that mean? What do you mean? What does that mean?
Let's assume that Keeping Up with the Joneses wins the wild card weekend matchup. Team Dugby and Team Dan Snyder's Diary are eliminated from the playoffs.
Oh, okay,
They do not move into the other bracket because their point totals will be much higher than the other teams within the winner's bracket.
So yeah, it's just like regular football. When the team's out, they're out. But they can still collect points with playing cards and, setting the lineup.
They will still collect points.
Yeah.
So it is very, very possible, and quite possibly very likely, that people who are not in the loser's bracket end up with the most overall points for the week.
Oh, interesting. Well, can I ask a question that may or may not be unrelated?
You just did.
Yeah. Unrelated. So with, as the playoffs progress and teams get eliminated, so there could be a run for cards, right? Because what happens if, I've been collecting cards. I have more than my original 5. But what happens when you don't? I only have 2 penalty cards. I had 1 penalty card up until last night, and I've been playing it, except for I did trade you with, but I've always had 1 penalty card. So how does it work with if you don't have a card for a team in a scoring category? Am I just worrying for nothing?
I think you are, but I'll expand on it. The free agency pool will not finish. Like, there will continuously be free agents available up and through week 18 championship. Also, the other important element and the other kind of like twist to this whole equation, week 14 has 6 teams on a bye.
Oh.
So anybody competing in the wild card weekend has to not only face the 2 teams that they're playing, but they also have to take into consideration that there are teams on a bye. That is the last week of byes in the football league, in the NFL.
That's week 15. You said 6,
14.
right? 14, because we're on 13 and there's 2.
Correct.
I haven't looked that far ahead. What are the 6 teams on a bye? Do you know?
I do. I know everything.
Of course you do. What am I saying? That
was
an unquestioned.
In week 14, you have Atlanta, Chicago, Green Bay, Indianapolis, New Orleans, and Washington.
I have 1 card of all 6. I have only the Colts. Yep. Okay.
Which, I'm a betting man, I would say that those are an absorbent amount of unfantasy points that have gotten people points throughout the course of the season.
Yep.
So
Saints.
It makes it that much more wild.
It's been riding Green Bay, so
yeah,
not to be able to do that week 14.
I've seen a lot of Green Bay logos, a lot of Saints logos.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's going to make the wild card weekend definitely one to watch. Again, like if you have a bye if one of your cards has a bye and you have a bye into week 15, it's still in your best interest to go pick up another card to replace that penalties card, because you're still competing in that overall points.
I got the Cowboys card, but of course now they're not going to commit any penalties because I bought the card. So now they're going to do awesome. Just want everyone to know, don't play your Cowboys cards anymore.
I still got them, so we'll see how it all plays out. So anyway, these are the standings up and through week 12. I'll do my best to pull all-nighters on Thursday night as well as Sunday night. And then, of course, on Monday night, to keep this as up to date as possible so everybody knows where they are positioned in the actual playoff hunt.
What's the update on the score here of this?
Still 1-0 USA.
What's
57th minute.
57th minute. So in the second half.
They're in the second half. Yeah. England is beating Wales 2-0 and the other two teams in that group. So looks like England will advance. USA needs a win to move on. So we'll see. But so just to point out a couple things about some changes that happened in the losers bracket this week, and you can obviously review the playoff races on your own, but nothing but fumbles. John did surpass Battle Bunnies, and I think they're beating them by quite a bit of a margin now. So there's
six or so. It's not that bad.
It's not bad. It's a win-loss card away, but the Battle Bunnies obviously still fighting for that number one spot. I believe in the NFC, Team Dark Matter flew ahead of Flag on the Play. So there's still a lot of races, not just for the bye weeks, but for the actual playoff picture as well.
Yeah.
Important thing.
Dark Matter has been nothing this whole league. Won it last week and then took like second or third or fifth or something this week and is right back in the friggin' mix. So it's nuts to see.
It's crazy that you can just crawl out of the basement like 50th place and end up like, top
What's
5.
crazy is this daylight savings time has got the sun right in my eyes at this very moment. So we need to reschedule it like an hour earlier or later next week.
No, I like the distraction, man. I mean, it again, ammunition.
Yeah,
I think Krista must be brainstorming, knowing now that Battle Bunnies is right behind John. She's going to be.
Well, that's Frank's team. Chris.
Frank's yeah, but we know. We saw Frank 2 weeks in a row. We know Krista is helping out there.
I don't know. She's got her own team to worry about. So, and she's on the bubble herself. So Krista has a lot of good picks to start considering and asking who she trusts more for advice, whether it's John, myself, anybody in the Telegram chat. A couple little nuanced components with this, and we can get into this more in the playoff weeks themselves. Obviously, we have the set lineup page, right? Mm-hmm. So you can see who people have set in their lineups. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things that we were always fearful of is, well, I can just see what you have and I can play the same cards, and therefore, we have the same score.
I think you're the only one fearful of that because every week on these live streams, you mentioned how I always pick my lineup after yours.
That's my point. So in order to avoid that, obviously with the playoffs and, you have a head-to-head competition, it's a little easier to do that now. There are rules, and you can read those rules here on the way that those ties would be offset. Okay. And they will correlate with the way that you played your lineups up until this point in the season. So there's no backtracking that. That's all stats that's already in there. So if you're going to try to play that game, just realize that there are other ways that we will determine the winner in the event of a tie.
Unlikely that'll happen anyway. But as usual, Mike's got all the bases covered with that, which is cool. Are we going to chat about? Because we broke the news a little bit, but we went into more detail last week. Is the wild card? Is that ready to move into that?
Yes, we are definitely ready to bump into that. So, John, you want to break down what the wild card is, how it will be used, what to expect with it?
Yeah, I think so. What we had always decided is that how does we've said the owner's pass and the logo that you get, which again was randomly generated when you got into the league, that's got to mean something, right? And maybe some people won some cards with them, but now starting next week, not this week coming, but for the playoffs, the logo that's on your owner's pass is going to give you a wild card of that logo. So, for instance, I have the Jaguars logo. Wouldn't help this week, but I can use that wild card in any position, any of the 5 categories. I can only use one wild card, but I can use it in anything: penalties, win-loss, whatever. So whoever you have on your owner's pass, you're guaranteed a wild card. I'm just working on some cool little backgrounds on that stuff too, which is going to be fun. Also, there is another way to obtain a wild card in case you got unlucky or lucky in this case, and you got like the Philadelphia Eagles, like Keeping Up with the Joneses did. That doesn't really do you that much good. There's a way to get another wild card, which is having a full set which is having the team card, the team logo, and the background team as the same team. So if you have a Philadelphia logo and a Philadelphia background in the metadata, the traits, that's constituted as a full set. You can also play that as a wild card as well. Again, only can play one wild card in your lineup, but it is a way to obtain other ways or other teams if you didn't luck out on the draw here.
The draw.
And we actually added a metadata component. If you go to the playing cards collection on OpenSea, you'll be able to search for which cards actually have a full set.
Interesting.
And I don't want to make people rush to the gates here, but there are some in free agency.
Yeah.
So they will turn into wild cards, and you will be able to play that card in any position.
So hold on a second. The wild cards we have to either buy them or we can get a full set and it's a wild card, or
okay. So your owner's pass get you a wild. Everybody will get at least one wild card.
That's what I thought. But then when I got confused with the free agency. So everyone's going to get a wild card of their owner's pass team logo. Got it. Okay.
It'll be sent to them at the end of this week or beginning of next week or whatnot.
But to even things out, right? Like to John's point, if you have Philly, Kansas City, Minnesota, a team that's been doing really well this year, even in some of those subcategories like penalties or special teams, they might not be the best cards to play. So
now, but they will be.
Maybe. But as an alternative and as a way to try to increase your likelihood of getting a card or a wild card that you want, the full sets will transform into a wild card. So you can see there's 32 in the collection right now. Most of them are owned by people. There are a few in free agency, and there will be a few more that will be released into free agency starting at the end of this week. However, it is important to note the wild cards will only count starting week 14.
Okay, it is.
Even if you have a full set now, it can only be played in the scoring category that's designated on the card currently. And you'll see that. We'll change the metadata. We'll change what needs to be changed so that you can clearly see that card is a wild card.
Yeah. Well, so the way I'm thinking of it is with wild cards, for those that have team logos that probably are going to be eliminated, what you're saying is you could use a full set of a team that might be more prominent or successful where they're going into the playoffs, which, that could help, right? Because again, there's going to be fewer teams playing as we progress, right? So you're going to have
fewer
those
regular, like real teams or unfantasy teams.
The real teams playing. I guess I'm still thinking of the whole, like, we can still collect points the whole time. And to do that, we're going to have to play cards for the real teams that are playing in the real playoffs.
So fantasy football runs to a period where all the teams play. So it does not go into the real football playoffs, right? So it ends in week 18. All 32 teams play in week 18.
But they're not playing. So how does that? I don't understand.
For this purposes, and then we are going to do stuff for the playoffs. But our season here, technically, the championship or champion will be happen at the end of the last regular season week. So every team will play still week 18. Every team plays in.
So if I have Houston has one win all the year, right? They're not making the actual football NFL playoffs.
Correct.
Right. I can still play that team in the championship because that team will be playing that week in the real football world. The
NFL playoffs start at the end of our season.
Correct. Our season ends, and then the real playoffs begin for football.
And I see, Linda, I've seen you make some gifts of Mike and stuff. I feel like we just got some, like, you scratching your head. We got some real gifts that we might have to pull out here if I knew how to do that.
Do not even get me started with gifts, okay? They are so fun, and there were some here that I wish I was controlling this whole thing right now.
John, can you pull up Lisa's question? It's a good question.
Yeah.
So all of the wild cards will be dependent on the team on the card, right? So you are restricted to the team on the full set as well as the team on your logo. After that, you have the option to select which scoring category you wish to play that team on a given week. Now, everybody's getting at least one wild card, right? Because everybody has an owner's pass.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a full set and an owner's pass and you end up with 2 wild cards, you are only allowed to play one. If your full set is a card in a scoring category that you have to play, like for example, let's say you only have the special teams Philly card, that is the only position that card could be played in because it's an actual special teams card. Make sense?
Oh, that makes sense. So if you have the full set, but it already, the full set designates not only the team but the scoring category, you can't use that in the win-loss because it's already been designated.
No, you can, but you also cannot play the other wild card. If you wanted to play your team logo wild card, then the full set wild card is only designated to the scoring category on what it currently sits at.
Oh, so you're saying you can play both cards, but one is the wild card, and
Correct.
even if it says special teams and you want to play it win-loss because of the logo or the team rather, then the wild card, wait.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So in real time, right? So you're going to get a wild card of the Arizona Cardinals. Like you're going to get that, right? That can be played anywhere because there's no position that's designated with that.
Yeah.
But if you, let's say there's a full set up here with the Green Bay Packers, right, and the Minnesota Vikings. Those are full sets right now. If you had this card and your Arizona one, which everybody again is going to get one from their owner's pass, you can't play this Arizona card and then play the Green Bay in any position either. It would have to, this Green Bay card would have to go in special teams. You could take your Arizona card and place it anywhere you want. But this has to go in the special teams. If you don't want to play your Arizona wild card, you could play this card anywhere you want.
I got it.
The special teams.
I feel like I was on the right track. I might not have been saying the words, but what you're saying is if what I was trying to say to clarify is you can still play both cards, the full set and the wild card, but that's where you have to then pick that this card plays this team, plays this position. I'm sorry, this scoring category, because you're playing the wild card, which is
Correct.
where you. Okay, I got it. I got it.
And Lisa, please ask us to elaborate further if it doesn't make sense. But I think that really kind of hammers it home on the way that the full sets will complement the wild cards and the ability to only play one. So
dude, that was like, she's not going to ask now after you just said that. Like, please feel free to ask your questions. But I think I just hammered it home for all the smart kids in the room. Way to be inclusive in the.
There's only 3 of us here. There you go. Makes sense. You see, perfect. And I'm sure she,
Yeah, of course. Who knows? She'll text us later if it doesn't. So,
I'm more than happy to spend all night explaining it again. So, bottom line here, man, it's a really cool, unique twist starting into the playoff format. I think it will help with the bye weeks as well. By the way, trading on these are still open, so you can still trade and try to work out deals for some of the ones that you want for other ones that people have. We will be monitoring which wild cards are set, and they will be designated with an icon within the set lineup page. So you're going to get to see which ones will be used as wild cards in that way.
Interesting.
Yep. And not to like just this looks awesome. This Green Bay card is out there, but not to dissuade anybody from getting it. I think it still is a good little card. But you did mention that Green Bay is one of the teams that's on the bye week in week 14, right?
Yep.
Correct.
So just throwing out all the info in there.
But we're on week 13.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah. But wild cards don't come into play until week 14.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it would have to be a longer.
Any designation of full sets will only change at the end of week 13, and all of the wild cards for your owner's pass will only be issued after week 13.
Yep. Got us there.
Yep. Does anyone else have any questions?
I think we're hammering it home pretty much for anybody that.
I don't even mean about this. I mean about anything about the playoffs. Just in case. I don't want to be the only one asking silly questions. What were you trashing me, John?
No, I was trashing Mike.
Okay.
For just.
All right, that's rude. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think so we did do this, and I think we should run down. We're running short on time a little bit, but I think what we've done the last 5 or 6 weeks is and anybody that's on here, type in your picks. So we've run through the real picks, the real NFL games each week, and we've said who's going to lose. I've kept them in this official record here, so I have updates of who won and who lost last week, and we'll do the same thing. And I'll just get
can
right
we,
to the
can
punch.
we go through the record, or
yeah, we'll go through it, but I'll get to the punch here, I guess. Here, so last week I came in. I'm just going to go in order here because whatever. So I got 9. I was 9-6, so not so good. The week before, I'm sure Mike's goldfish memory forgot that I won. And
you're talking about the now, man. The now.
Yeah, but that's okay. Got you. Mike was 12-3, which of course you'd think was the winner. It's a great record. It was not. Frank 11-4, Battle Bunnies. Linda 10-5. So nice, respectable record. Beat me. And then Jack, straight ETH homie, won at 13-2. So he won 13 games correctly picked.
Yeah.
So
there's a problem because there were 16 games, so you forgot one game on each person, which could be the deciding factor here.
Okay, right. Your official records are more official than mine, I would say. So, and plus, since Jack's team played my team, he's going to get. I'm going to give him this one. I mean, I even might give him this one with the pit stains and not get the other ones. But he is going to get a Minnesota crying purple rain tears T-shirt. So there you go, Jack. But yes,
Jack.
Guaranteed laughs at the. Guaranteed laughs at the grocery store when you wear that for sure.
Yes, every time.
Awesome.
Every time. So do we want to run through real quick and pick our games while we're here? Again, anybody can comment and just guess, right? That's really what Mike does anyway. And sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't.
Buffalo goes to New England. Thursday night football, another primetime game for the Patriots. Huge division game. Can they muster a lifeline and stay competitive, or is this the end of their season?
It's not the end of their season, but I am going to pick New England to – well, I can't do that now. I'm going to pick I got my boy in here. I'm picking Buffalo to lose all the way.
You almost said what you really wanted to say.
Yes.
You didn't want to look bad in front of your kids. I get it.
Yep.
I say New England loses as well.
As well? He didn't say that.
It's good because I kind of meant it. Both picks here, so I can
New England loses.
All right.
All right. All right. So here's an interesting one. Cleveland goes down to Houston. Deshaun Watson comes off of suspension. He obviously got run out of Houston. This is ironically his first game back, which wasn't a setup by the NFL at all. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say Houston beats them and Cleveland loses.
I agree.
Houston
wins.
You said Houston loses?
No.
I'd say Cleveland loses.
I'm trying to catch up. There's actually a lot more people in here now, and you know how my records get official. All right, so Cleveland loses. Cleveland loses. I'm going Houston loses on that one.
I think Houston is poised for a win. I
need Nick Chubb to do amazing things, though.
And just so I don't get confused, we got to put who loses. So anybody in the comments in here, tell me who loses, and that's what I'm going to put in here. So if the Browns win, that means that Houston is the loser. I agree with that.
And I'll let you.
Should I be typing mine?
You're caught up?
I'm caught up. I got you.
Right,
I got
cool.
you right.
The hapless Denver Broncos go into the 2-point conversion losing Baltimore Ravens. I say Baltimore bounces back. Denver's just a lost cause all year. I say Denver loses that game.
Denver loses.
Agreed. Denver loses. Next up.
So next up, we have Jacksonville going to Detroit. This has the makings of kind of a weird game. Two very common unfantasy cards that are traditionally played. It's going to be interesting to see who plays what on that one. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say that Jacksonville loses. Detroit pulls it out.
I am not parroting Mike the whole time. I really do believe also that Jaguars are going to lose. Right? Yes. They're playing Jags, right? So yeah,
Correct.
Lions win. Jaguars.
I thought, Mike, you picked Jags to.
I picked Detroit winning.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you got to tell me who loses. So Jax loses.
I said Jacksonville lost.
Jax loses. Jack says Jax loses.
Okay. I need your picks also for Denver and Houston and Cleveland, Jack. But yes, go ahead.
Jets go into Minneapolis.
Ooh.
This is going to be quite possibly a really good game.
It's not quite possibly. It is going to be a good game.
I've been a believer in Jack and the Vikings all year. I know John's been fighting me on it. The Jets, in all of my energy, I cannot convince myself they're a good team. So I'm going to say the Jets lose. I
still think that the Minnesota is going to take them over. So I say Jets lose. I still think it's going to be a good game.
Okay. I love Wendy over there, Mountain Hikers, saying that Jacksonville's going to lose for sure because it's too cold in Denver or Detroit over there. It is true. They could get cold.
They're going to wear scarves.
But it's in a dome. It's in a dome, but yes. Jets are not losing that game. Minnesota is losing that game.
Minnesota's losing that. Man, you've gone against Jack quite a bit here. You're going to end up sending him a whole wardrobe.
Well, that's true, John. Well, you should just go with Jack. He just won for picking the teams.
Yeah,
sure.
Patriots gave that game to him. So I think the Jets can win that stuff. It's a close game. Who the heck knows? Where is it? It's in New York or it's in Minnesota?
Minnesota.
All right. And Jack's got season tickets and to that. So no, I'm not. I'm not.
All right. This is obviously one of the oldest ones in football, but this is kind of like a weird, like important game for these two teams, respectfully. The Packers go into Chicago. Two garbage teams this year. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers probably won't play. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to make my pick first, but I will say this, that both the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears both have 786 wins combined, or respectfully in their history. So the winner of this game will surpass the other team all time in wins, which is nuts when you think about it. They both have 786 wins.
I don't know much about either one of these teams, but I'm going to go with the Packers. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh shit. I'm going to go that the Bears lose.
Mm-hmm.
Bears lose.
I'm going to go with the Bears lose as well. I think what you saw with the Jets, like you had even a quarterback that's probably not good come off, gives them a little bit of a spark. So this guy, Jordan Love, has been on the bench. I don't know why I said love like love, but he's been on the bench just like Aaron Rodgers was. So I think he came off and threw a touchdown pass. I think he'll do the same and beat the Bears, and the Bears lose.
I think the Bears have really given everything they have into Justin Fields, and we saw what type of team they are without Fields, and now without Mooney. Mooney's gone for the season too, so they are in deep trouble for the rest of the year. I'm going to say that they lose at the hands of Love as well.
So did you just say that Fields is not playing this week also?
I don't know, but I saw what kind of team they were without him. And if he goes down again, if he re-aggravates that injury, then it's just there's no shot. And I'm going to put my chips into Love's pile before that. But I just, I heard rumors that Rodgers might tough it out. I think if that happens, then it obviously evens up the playing field a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep. But anyway, Pittsburgh at Atlanta. This has one of those. This could be a good game type of recipes as well here.
I have to say, I think Pittsburgh's going to lose. I'm going there. I'm going to go there.
Are you going to go there so confidently that you're going to play that win-loss card?
Let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy. Well, I can't play the Colts Oh, so wait, no, the Colts aren't on a bye. I'm thinking of week.
We'll get to the Colts, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you're going to be very interested in playing that card.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so Lisa agrees. I think the Falcons can. Even though those gifs were hilarious with Matt Ryan. Oh my God, I couldn't stop watching it. But I think they're going to lose. I know he's not playing with them anymore, but it's still funny.
I think. I mean, we'll see how it all plays out, of course, but Atlanta has the late bye this year, right? Their bye is week 14. So they might take an early week off. I'm going to say Atlanta loses.
Did you say Green Bay loses also?
I said Green Bay wins.
Green Bay wins.
Bears lose.
I am going to say Pittsburgh. I'm going to say Pittsburgh loses. Where is it being played?
Atlanta.
I'm going to say Pittsburgh loses. Wasn't impressed with that game last week or last night.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I think Atlanta's going to lose.
So another quite possible best game of the week, but there's another one on my ticket for that too. But Tennessee goes into Philly. Philly's playing another home game. This is an A.J. Brown reunion. Chances of him having a breakout game are very high because he was not happy about being traded during the draft. Philly's obviously on fire. Tennessee's fighting for that top spot in the AFC. A lot of people don't think Tennessee's legit. Cincinnati shut down Derrick Henry last week for the most part. I'm going to say Philly loses this game.
Wow.
Philly is there's another loss in the books for Philly, and I think that this is going to be the one too. I think Eagles lose to the Titans. Yep.
Okay.
I have Titans offense. Now I'm wondering if I should play it.
A lot of people would agree with you, Linda, except it wouldn't be the Titans. It would be the Cowboys because they square off against each other later in the year too.
That Eagles lose to the Cowboys?
Yeah, that would be their second loss. But that's, the analysts that actually get paid for these types of reviews on sports.
Well, it's funny. I think maybe Jack saw the opener last week where we outed you as not really Nostradamus or whatever, because he picked Pitt. He was like Pitt. And in the moment you said or he picked Atlanta, the moment you said Atlanta, he changed it to Pitt. So I guess
maybe that game you didn't count made us tie. I don't know.
See, Jack agrees with me. Eagles lose. Okay. I mean, again, there are so many teams that I've never really watched before because I didn't have to, but now I'm paying attention.
That could be a very biased guess as well, or hope
from Jack.
Well. Yeah, because Minnesota's fighting with Philly for the top spot in the NFC.
That's right.
So if Philly loses, that puts them back in the driver's seat. Now, Jack's disadvantage is that Philly beat Minnesota, I think, week 1. Yeah. So they hold the head-to-head tiebreaker. So it's not just one game that has to be made up; it has to be 2.
Minnesota lost the first week.
No, I think they beat Green Bay, but they ended up losing to Philly either weeks 1 or 2.
Interesting, because I know I played Minnesota the first week for sure because I didn't buy any cards, and there was either week 1 or week 2 where I was like, I gotta get some new cards.
They might have played Green Bay in week 1, if I remember correctly, because Green Bay lost. Yeah. I know that. But I know that at some point Philly holds the tiebreaker against Minnesota. So Minnesota has some ground to cover if they want that 1 seed, and all roads to the Super Bowl have to go through Minnesota at that point. This could be an interesting game. Yet to face.
I didn't make my don't matter anymore. You guys forgot I was here because your chemistry is like.
Wait,
off
I'm
the
sorry. Hello, what's your name? Who are you?
Yep. It's just me.
I mean, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's just me.
John, unless you come onto my show, I'm sorry. You have to put your name in the captions. I don't remember who you are.
Okay. No, done deal. I say that Tennessee is going to lose. It may also be wishful thinking. I may be playing the same game that Jack is, AFC team. I think the Patriots are on the bubble here of the playoffs. So I'm going to go with Tennessee losing to Philadelphia, even though I can't see Philadelphia being that good, but they've proved me wrong all year.
They've picked up some really key pieces lately. I mean, they just signed Ndamukong Suh, and he's already had a pretty big presence made. So stacked defense and deep. Washington goes to the Meadowlands and faces off in a division game. I think this is the first time they play all year. Washington is on a tear. I don't think those words would ever have come out of my mouth this year. New York has kind of fallen into a slumber. They've had some significant injuries on defense, which, everybody thought they were going to get crushed against Cowboys because of that. But I'm going to say that Heineke marches in there, man, and he just keeps this train moving for Washington. I say Washington beats the Giants.
Okay, Giants are losing.
Giants are losing.
Okay.
I say Giants lose too.
Okay, this is a tough one.
It is a tough one.
This is a tough one. I'm gonna go with the Commanders losing. You know what? That was the same. It's the same in week 2 where you really want to trade me the Cowboys win-loss card for what was it again?
Look, worst case scenario, you make an animation next week of my humph and the Giants win. So it's a win-win for me. This is
really short arms, dude. We did that. I'm glad that the U.S. has not scored. I'm glad soccer doesn't really have any action because
I've been sweating sitting here,
so it's the pit stain stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to go out.
You guys are gonna have to send me the footage of this so I can make a couple of GIFs.
It's live right now on our website. You can the whole library of all the Trash Talk Tuesdays are on.
Yeah, but you mean the MP4 file? I'm talking about. I need the MP4 file.
Oh, that's privileged information here.
Privileged. Get the
my game of the week. And I know everybody's going to hate me for this. Miami goes to the Bay and faces off against San Francisco. Now, whatever the hell the backup is for San Francisco is out. Christian McCaffrey obviously has taken the reins on that running game. Jeff Wilson Jr. coming back. Raheem Mostert coming back. Tua has the best passer rating in the NFL. The Dolphins have one of the best passing games in the NFL as far as yardage is concerned. Their defense has really played well. San Francisco has been on fire over the last few weeks, especially on the defensive side. They pitched a shutout this past week against New Orleans. I think this is going to be a hell of a game, but I'm going to say that Miami wins it.
Okay, San Francisco loses it.
San Francisco loses.
I'm picking, but that's not my pick. I was just trying to get your pick.
My pick is San Francisco loses.
Okay. Well, Miami loses this one. Miami sucks. And I'm going to be enjoying this one.
Okie doke.
Okie dokie, Smokey.
Seattle heads down the coast, faces off against, the thumbnail of our Trash Talk Tuesday Week 12 segment and the LA Rams, who are they officially eliminated?
Did you see that? I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Pretty much, if not.
Well, tough to be them. I mean, Super Bowl hangover turned into a Super Bowl corpse here. But Seattle coming off a really, really bad loss against Vegas in the walk-off. That's the second walk-off for Vegas in 2 weeks, by the way. One on the air, one on the ground, 86-yard run by Josh Jacobs on the road. I think Seattle bounces back. I think the Rams are just useless. I think that the Rams lose this game.
Rams are losing for sure.
Okay. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see him get hit?
No.
The
coach. Yeah, I did see that.
That was like the joke. I think everybody was like trying to rush to Twitter to be the first to put out the obvious joke that he needs to go into the concussion protocol after that. But did you see that, Linda?
No, I did not.
You were texting. I'm just trying to like a teacher, like to try to make a noise to get attention back.
Okay, Dad.
the coach was who's younger than me, for crying out loud, which is crazy to think. But he was just walking by, and a player that was running on the field and hit him, and it was like a slow motion. If you look at our thumbnail, it looks very much like that. But it was a slow motion.
Oh, right, yes,
of getting hit from that, and it was crazy. It was crazy. But yes, they did get knocked out of the playoffs. I very much believe they did. Are you? Do you want me to share this now, Mike?
Yeah, share it.
Oh yeah, it doesn't even do it justice how the slow motion that they did it on.
You
I'm
gotta
trying
do
to see your
what?
pop-up ads so I know where what kind of
Boom.
sites you surf at too.
Soccer talk. Yeah, it's definitely not a. Yeah, he got knocked.
Oh wow.
That's anybody who's played football. That's a film room joke for sure.
That's like unfortunate.
Um,
That's like the if anyone has TikTok here, there's a TikTok video going around where they bump their head on a cabinet and then they do the staying alive. You got to be there, John. Are you on TikTok? Come on. You should be with your animations. They're so good.
We have some stuff like we have the fun fact. Mike is full of these fun facts. He loves his fun facts. But fun fact, at one point we had the #1 Mitch Hedberg.
Yes, there's 13,000 views on it.
What's that?
There's 13,000 views on the 11 jokes.
Yeah, no. That's the YouTube stuff. But on TikTok, we had the #1 of all time Mitch Hedberg joke on TikTok. I haven't gone on there, so maybe it's not there anymore. But it was the dry cleaner joke. Sorry, we're closed. But yes, I do have we do have a TikTok, a company TikTok. It's very hard to get on there because it just goes right into the like you turn on the app and it just goes right into somebody's thing. I know Jack is like a big TikToker. One, because he loves the collectible live streams, but his daughter is like a TikTok star and made like national news on TikTok. So we have a lot of stars amongst us. A lot of stars.
Gosh, I only know teams and oh really? Mitch is from Minnesota.
Yep.
Oh wow, interesting. Okay,
Yep,
I'm going to be stalking all of you. I'm going to be stalking all of you. I need to dox all of you who have not real names. So I know who you are and who's famous.
Yep.
Stargazing.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Let's plow through the rest of these here. We got the
I didn't pick that one yet. And who is the Rams playing again?
Seattle is down in LA.
Seattle.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the Rams losing again. Everybody picked the Rams losing?
Yes.
I did, yes.
All right. I think Linda's getting her picks from somebody is like texting her and it's like trivia night. Trivia night, you gotta take the phones away.
I'm trying to find what is Jack saying? And Mitch, oh, that's so cool. That's so
amazing.
Cool.
That is legendary. That is legendary.
Very legendary.
That is a moment you don't forget, especially
right.
a Minnesota guy. All right, here's an AFC playoff rematch. That's quite possibly one of the best we've ever seen. Is Kansas City this time going into Cincinnati? Both teams playing well. Cincinnati just beat up Tennessee, so that's one big AFC monster that they kind of knocked out. I think Cincinnati's been playing much better than they have at the beginning of the season. Jamar Chase is coming back. He's going to be healthy. Kansas City is still Kansas City.
Yeah.
Kansas City on the road this year is not the Kansas City that we've known. I say Cincinnati pulls this out and Kansas City loses.
I cannot be swayed by your intel, Mike. I think Bengals are going to lose. I'm with Lisa. I think the Bengals are going to lose. I think KC continues. But I might have to play my penalties card on that one.
It could be a dirty game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tension with those two teams.
I'm going to go with Cincinnati losing as well, more for wishful thinking to get them out of the playoff hunt in the AFC. But yes.
So here's one of the two-point conversion winners of this past week. Chargers head to Vegas. Vegas is on a 2-game winning streak, albeit on walk-offs. Derek Carr is awful this year, although Devontae Adams is still having one of a Devontae Adams type years. Josh Jacobs has woken up. Their defense is awful. Chargers have a lot of work to do. I think this is going to be a pretty good clash of mediocre teams / shit teams in the AFC West. I think Vegas pulls it out at home.
I'm going to go with the Raiders losing, although that bit me in the ass last week. But I'm going to go with Raiders losing.
And they're playing Chargers?
Yep. Division game.
I think the Chargers. They've already won 2 games. See, this is where I'd have to look up because I don't always know all the things, all the standings of all the teams. I think the Raiders are going to lose this week.
Okay.
This is a coin toss for me. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna put San Diego in here because LAC, LAR. It's just I'm just gonna put San Diego. So Mike, you have San Diego losing this week.
Poor San Diego. All right. Colts go to Dallas. I think this is going to be a unanimous one. I think Indy loses.
Indy's losing. Shit. So that's probably the card I'm playing. You know, the Steelers card, I got the Steelers card. Did you trade that with me, Mike? I think you did.
Might have.
That has done me so well. So well. So well.
Well, if you ask John, I haven't needed it much because I'm ahead of him in the standings. But you, I don't have that.
Nobody asked me.
I'm sorry, your captions are off. Who are you again? Who did you send him this link, Mike? The StreamYard link?
Yep.
Quick update, 90th minute, 8 minutes in extra time out of 9. So US is about to pull it out, but Iran is
What's it, 1-0 still?
Pressing. Yeah, it's still 1-0.
And I guess like what jerks, I mean, like it's blasphemous. First off, you're married to a Colombian who loves soccer. And we must have started because we're in like 1:30. We're in the 91st minute here and a little bit of extra time. So we started it like as they kicked off. So you know, we're not patriotic.
Well, we had a halftime, which took time off. But yeah, we are very consistent with this, which our timing, I guess it worked good. I mean, we're talking football here, right?
Yes. Yep. I'm gonna go with shit, man. I just feel like the lock of the weeks are never lock of the weeks.
It's getting harder and harder.
Okay, so I'm gonna give me 1 second before you make your pick because I'm gonna tell you something that may persuade you to go the route I think you're gonna go. Let's see. Okay, so never mind. They play. Okay, so this is the Cowboys schedule coming up. They play the Colts, the Texans, the Jaguars, then the Eagles, Titans, and Commanders.
Are they playing second string? They're playing second string for the rest.
I was going to say if they had Philly next week, this might be one of those weeks where they blow it because you'd be thinking they're going to prep for Philly a little bit extra time, but that's off the table. So go ahead, make your pick.
It sounded like Clint Eastwood when you said that. I'm full with voiceover talent here today. I'm gonna say I really do want to pick the Cowboys to lose that stuff. And you know what? You got to take some risks because a lot of you guys are just picking the damn copycat pick. So I am picking Dallas to lose. Lock it.
Team USA advances to the knockout stages of the World Cup. Awesome.
Nice.
Hang on, wait. The scream is coming soon.
Is that like tennis? Are you allowed to cheer in those stadiums, or like you got to be quiet? Or
I don't know, man. We watched the Spain-Germany game, and it was like these guys were watching the game in a library. And like I was watching it with a buddy of mine from Germany, and he's like, "Yes, we're just trying to watch the game and understand the game. Like very quiet, very studious, no cheers, even when they scored. It was just
golf clapping." Yes.
Yeah.
I take back the voiceover stuff because you just did a German accent, like he's from Jamaica. But
he speaks.
You're German. You're pretty much German. Neubauer's got to be of German descent.
Of course it is. But I mean, the only German word I know is Gesundheit. You know, but
Dankeschön, I think. Right?
Well, you spend more time there than I did.
I just,
game of the week.
Just to toot my own horn and stuff, but it's actually like making fun of myself. I booked the damn. This is how like I get organized. I left the week before Oktoberfest started, so they were like putting up the nice tents and stuff, and you know the beer was still frothy as I was just like leaving and shedding a tear as we go. So maybe one day I'll get back there.
There you go. Final game of the week, Monday Night Football. Saints go to Tampa. This was a nasty game when they played earlier this year. I think there was a few ejections, some punches thrown. These two teams do not like each other. I don't remember. I think the Saints actually might have pulled it off. Tampa's not been playing well. They obviously lost the heartbreaker in overtime to Cleveland this past week. The Saints are hapless. I don't even know why the hell they stuck with Dalton this long. I say the Saints lose, man. I think it's just too deep into the season for them to do anything.
It's a shit show for either one, really. I think. I think the Bucks lose. I say Bucks lose.
Okay.
Interesting. At home.
Yeah. I don't know why. Just saying it. Don't judge me. Do not judge me.
No judgment. There's no judgment. No judgment in here. Oh, what is it? Did I freeze up, or are you guys just looking at me, or what?
Look, you complain when we don't allow you to make your pick, and then when
I've changed my mind. There's plenty. There's judgment. Now I am starting to judge you both.
Oh, you're judging us for not talking to you, for not trashing you.
You're a little click. You're like mean. You're like mean girls.
Yeah. You mean I'm popular?
Come on, Brady boy. Who are you picking?
I'm gonna pick the Saints to lose. The Saints to lose.
I think that's another unanimous one.
No, I said Bucks lose.
Oh yeah.
See, I listen, right? So
yeah. All right.
That wraps up week 13.
Okay.
Oh God, there's a lot of emotion going on there. There's a lot of emotion.
So I'll do a 30-second recap for anybody that was watching the U.S. team and decided to pop in here. This is the last regular season week for UNfantasy Football. Week 14 starts the playoffs. The playoff seedings will be determined based on the playoff rankings and the race and the seed hunt. That all that information can be found in this video as well as on our website. So stay tuned on that. The first game kicks off Thursday night, Buffalo against New England. If you have those teams, if you want to play those teams, make sure your lineups are set. There are two teams on a bye, Arizona and Carolina, both two very favorable UNfantasy cards to play. So make sure you remove those teams or else you will get 0 points. All the playoff structures will be announced. We will send out the award cards. Quick note on that. So Commander Frost is going to get the 2. Mac Jones and Ferun Points is going to get the 1. The Will to Tilt will get 2. And we had 2 teams enter the 300-point club this week. Penny Prince and America's UNfantasy Football Team will both receive another card. There is 67 out of 68 owners that have achieved the 300-point total. We're still waiting on one, and looks like it'll happen this week unless there's a colossal miss. John, I look forward to next week by officially being the one to welcome you into the all-inclusive 600-point club.
I ain't going near your 600 club the way you do it.
I was cracking up backstage with the 600-mile high club.
Yeah,
you dirty dogs.
Yeah. I'm not going into that one for you guys on that. But Penny Prince is the voice of Sam Jackson in our opener. So that guy, talk about voice talent, is very talented. That was very funny. He's the voice of most of our little characters that we've done throughout this year. One guy has done those things. So very cool. And Penny Prince, unfortunately, has not had a great season, but he was with us. He's an OG. He was with us in Mike's apartment in Miami back when Hurricane Matthew was raging into there and we got stuck there. There were just 4 dudes in a small apartment, and it smelled like the shirt I'm about to send to Jack. I might have been wearing it back then. So congrats to Jack for winning the shirt. Congrats to, we didn't mention this, but we'll maybe get into it next week a little bit if there's time. But the snag of the week, there's a big one here because there was someone for the first time collected all of the epic fail diamond backgrounds. So
yes, I saw that.
Yep. So somebody minted a slew of cards, and it just happened to have the creamsicle, which completed his
WC
set.
Chance.
Yep.
I think it was card number 833. Not that I'm stalking anybody's cards, but I am.
You are into this league.
You're in it to win it. You're in it to win it. What's the name of his team?
It's one of the Tua teams. So
yep. So it's Tua B or not Tua B.
Tua B or not Tua B. I always mix them up.
He's got all 3 of the diamond backgrounds, the epic fails, the creamsicle ones, which is the rarest of the rare, and there's only 3 or 4 of those things in this whole entire collection. So congrats there. And yeah, man, I got nothing else. I think this was awesome. What'd you think, Linda?
Thank you so much for letting me come on here and trash you, John. Oh my gosh, it's been a pleasure. Mike, I still love you more.
Fantastic. Until
I'm
John
kidding.
takes over your podcast, and then Mike who?
Nope.
No, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for letting me ask my questions, my neophyte questions, and just kind of playing through some of the scenarios. I think the one thing that I'm going to throw myself under the bus, I don't think I clicked it that the weeks are not actually the actual NFL playoff weeks. So I thought we were matching it up, and I don't know why I thought that, other than I was just
Well,
trying to, keep up.
I'm glad we were able to clear the air on that.
Yeah.
I'm sure maybe, a couple other people had those questions too. So, yeah, look, again, everything we do here is to keep everybody engaged throughout the end of this, right? And, there's not going to be a week where some people play and others don't. That we wouldn't allow that to happen. So want to thank you guys for everything. Obviously, hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Kickoff is actually December 1st, so the calendar is flipping into December, which is always a fun time of year.
Yeah, advent calendar, right? That's the stuff that before December 2nd, like the first 13 chocolates are out of that puppy, for sure on my end anyway.
Well, the assholes at Costco decided to put those butter Christmas cookies on the shelf before Halloween, and yeah, they didn't stand a chance. So I have Christmas cookie shopping.
This is why Iran hates us, man, is because we're sitting there talking about these, our chocolate advent calendars and our peppermint cookies. And, this is exactly why. So
I think they hate us because we beat them just now and knocked them out of the World Cup too. So that could be one reason. But go Team USA.
Thanks for breaking the news. Thanks for everybody for joining in here too and commenting. It's always been fun. I don't know what we're going to do when this thing is over. The good news is it's not over yet. And when the playoffs start,
you have to do a baseball, an unbaseball one.
Yeah, we got some stuff. We got some stuff that'll be cool. And the playoffs, we'll do some stuff in the playoffs. So we got some cool things happening. So until next week, I will see you all then. Thanks, Linda.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
All right. I think I'm going to get fired now because of you.